Right, I'm going to just give you a quick tour of the polytunnel and its construction. I know you've seen my polytunnel many a time, but I've never really gone into the construction of it in detail. But it may help you if you ever think about putting up a polytunnel. So let's roll the tape, as Simon says. I thought I'd show you my polytunnel in a bit more detail. Originally I think it was a 25 to 30 foot polytunnel by 17 feet wide. Now, all these bars that you can see here, all of them are 2-inch, 50 mil. The one's going over the top, the one's going down the middle, if I can get down the middle, the one going down the middle, they're all 2-inch. And what I did, I didn't want to leave any metal out, so all the metal I built back into the polytunnel apart from one hoop. That's all that is not reinstalled back in this polytunnel. And the idea there was you could take this apart and you rebuild it back as the original size, 25 or 30 foot long. These you would lose one of these crossbars, because that would have to be fitted onto the tube up there to extend the center tube along. But they're spigoted, so it's no problem whatsoever. Got bars coming down here. That gives it a bit of support there. Well, supports this 4x2. Going along here, this is all tannalized wood, and then I've got the diagonal pieces coming down, so it's bracing the front and the back. If you have a look there, you can see one there going up that side. Got one on full 4 corners, and the diagonal ones that come here, I'll just try and zoom in there a little bit. They're going right up to the center bar up there, where all the 4 of them meet. Luckily they managed to fit in there. So that supports that center bar, so if you get a load of snow on there, it's not going to come down in, not going to, you know, the weight is not going to bring the tunnel down. I've got 4 doors. Those 2 I haven't opened for a couple of years, I've got to be honest, but we're planning to do it this year. Partly to make sure the hinges are free, and also to give us a bit more ventilation. I've got a water butt in here. It's 125 litre water butt. That helps to keep a little bit of frost off, get a bit more temperature in there. That also gives us a water supply on the early spring, like now, because the water's turned off on this site. So that's our reservoir. Right, I'm going to take you outside now. Thought I'd show you a bit about the outside construction. You may have noticed from the inside I've got side rails. They're pieces of 4, I think they're 6x1 down this bit here. And then I've got a 2x1, slightly smaller than a 2x1. The plastic comes over a piece here, and then it's trapped by this 4x1 here, so that the plastic is held by the whole length of that piece of wood down there. This has been up about 3 or 4 years. If I can tap this thing, can you hear that? Hang on, I'll turn the mic around, you might hear it. There you are. It's like a drum. And that has never been tightened since the day I put it on. It stayed nice and tight. The sides though aren't quite as tight. Still fairly tight, but not as tight as the top. Right, going back to this bit here. Going back to this bit, I actually made a mistake here. This should have been a thicker piece of wood. And then that would have made the lip more into the guttering. So the water would run more. Sometimes it dribbles down the back there. So I lose a bit of water. Obviously we got a downpour, it goes in. It does fill all my butts up anyway. One thing I would change, well, I've already changed it on this one. I've bolted them. Bolted that through, right the way through to the inside. And that clamps it in nice and tight. Plus the screws tend to sort of rust away. I'll go around the other side in a minute. It's the same on the other side there. This piece is bolted through. It was originally screwed, but as an afterthought I thought I'd bolt it. Might show you the bolts on the inside in a minute. And I got a base rail down there. That is actually screwed. I could do with bolting that as well, really. Also, if you bolt it up, it makes it nice and easy to come apart. If you want to stretch the plastic or repair it. We got a bit of a bonfire going and plates having a bit of a clear up. Like I said, I got a base rail. Another 6x1 down there, trapped between two battens, just as I did on the other bit. But I've also trenched it as well. So that plastic is actually buried underneath the soil. I do over-engineer things a little bit, I think. Now, one thing I did notice the other day, I got my first hole. A little tiny hole, not quite sure why it's come about, whether it's a bird that's pecked it or whatever, but that's the first hole, apart from the hole down there, which I think was done by animals, a rat or something. But I got some polytunnel repair tape, so I'm gonna just patch that up. When the weather warms up a little bit, I'll put a bit of tape on there, on both sides. This is a look from the back. The other thing I've done, I normally have like some wind socks up there, but they broke off and I just haven't got around to putting them back on. But if you look at there closely, and I got this in another video because I showed Nick of Nick's Allotment. I don't know if I can see it, it's very difficult to see that. There's a wire, there he is there in the middle. There's a wire, it's only a bit of old strimmer wire. It's been there quite a few years now. And that goes across the top in the hope to scare the birds away so you don't peck the tops. A lot of people's tunnels get their tops pecked because the insects are on the inside and the birds are trying to get at the insects. And I think that's one of the biggest destroyers of polytunnels. This is the two back doors, but the ground here is higher than the door, so they can't open this way, but the doors open inwards, so it's not really a problem. Like I said, we haven't really used them much. We got this shade netting on here. The panels below are blocked off permanently, but this one is just left open, so I like to leave a bit of ventilation going through. You might actually see the wire better from here. If I can zoom in there. Yeah, you can see it nice and clear there now, can't you? Another important thing I think about when you're putting up a polytunnel, definitely on an allotment, is to put gutter in. For a start off, it enables you to collect a lot of water. And if you should get a drought or the water goes off in your allotment and you've got a polytunnel, you need a hell of a lot of water. So that's again another backup situation should we run out of water here for some reason. Also, if you're next to somebody else, then that water running off your tunnel can flood their plot, and I don't think that's a very nice thing to do, making all the ground wet and soggy, especially if you're creating shade as well. Neighbourly, at least put the gutter in up and you stop their plot getting flooded, or your own plot, and you also collect all the water. I've only got 2 barrels this side, but I got 3 on the other side because this is the south facing, so I didn't want to sort of block off too much of the sunlight coming through there. I'll just take a side view from the outside. So that's about 15 foot down that length and 17 foot the other way. I know the sizes are wrong really, isn't it? You normally have the narrower side on the width rather than the length, but it works well. Another thing about polytunnels, when you've got the metal bars, you need this white stuff that's underneath the plastic here. It's called anti-hotspot tape. Mine's actually starting to part a bit there. I might have to try and fix that one day. And what happens is this metal gets really hot. It would burn you in the summer if you touched it. And what it does, if it gets hot and the plastic's touching it, it breaks down the plastic, and then you lose the cover. These are the front doors. They also open outwards, but they could open up inwards if it was built that way, but opening outwards, it leaves you a bit more space on the inside. Another thing with these doors, I'm no carpenter. I've got 3 bolts on it and a lock. Got a bolt up there, bolt in the middle, and a bolt down the bottom. Because again, if your doors get left open in the wind, your tunnel's going to blow away. But further to that, because I'm not a very good carpenter, the doors don't actually open even when there's no lock. I know that's probably not a good job, but I'll tell you what, it's a backup. That door will not open even if the bolts are lifted. Look, no matter how much you push it, you got to have the secret password to get in. It's not really a secret password, is it? You have to pull the right one. It's a bit hard with me holding the camera. Pull the right one, push the left one, and the door opens. So it's pull the right one, push the left one. Plate struggles with that. I'll just show you those bolts that I were on about. There you go. There's some 6B1, and then the battens are screwed into that 6B1, and through one of the bottom battens that clamps the plastic, I've got a row of bolts. See them there? They go all the way along, and they clamp that bottom batten, trapping the plastic on its length. I got various wires screwed up, which I've put out when I've needed them and just left them there, and they always come in handy to strap the canes to the tomatoes to, or any other plants. I don't know if you found that helpful or interesting. Might do if you end up putting a polytunnel up. I'll just show you the base rails as well. There you go. There's the base rails. Anyway, I think that's it from me. See you again soon. Happy gardening. Cheerio.